All right, cyber traders, welcome on back here this Wednesday afternoon, November 11th, 11/11. Make a wish, right? Welcome on back here for our afternoon meeting. Let's get a quick sound check just to begin. Make sure everyone can hear me loud and clear. And with that, of course, I have to start this meeting off by saying, well, happy Veterans Day. Thank you so much to all of the veterans that have served our country, defended our country, just any of the branches of our military armed forces over the years. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. And I hope that you had a lovely day so far. So with that in mind, I hope everybody had a great day. Michael, Grant, Chuck, David, Debbie, great to see all of us inside the live trading room. And with that, of course, all of us on social media, welcome on back for those of us on Facebook Live and YouTube. So, of course, right now, we see the markets dumping off, right? The Dow actually was on like a roller coaster yesterday, we were saying during this meeting, but actually right now on a steady trend down heading into the afternoon. Dropped off at the open, moved up, that's expected. But from there, at least by 1 o'clock, 1:30, well, some news came out. From there, we ended up seeing a bit of a drop off. So what's the news out? Well, it actually has to do with my state, New York. So New York Governor Cuomo says the state reports 4,800 positive coronavirus tests. Says bars, restaurants now have to close at 10 p.m. Well, we're not going to talk about the politics of it. I personally think it's a little funky of a decision, just as far as like why 10 o'clock? Like that's it. We're not going to discuss like who's right, who's wrong, but obviously we're seeing a sharp turnaround in the market heading into the afternoon. So we'll come back to some of the side list stocks with that in mind. I have JMIA up on the screen. Very flat, very slow. The only reason that I actually had this up on our screen heading into this afternoon, I actually wanted to record a video for our phase 2 stock course coming up in a couple of weeks, but it hasn't really broken below the big line I have up on my chart there, 1320. There's actually a 150,000 share order on the bid. So I was hopeful that with the markets dropping off, Jamia had bad earnings. Yesterday they dived off Friday of last week too, going into this week. So they've taken a hit. I feel like if it could just break below that 1320, it's not up there right now in the matrix, but if it gets tested, you'll see that number pop up. If it breaks that order, maybe you'll see a big drop off heading into the afternoon for JMIA. So really, that's one of the only setups I had in mind heading into the afternoon thus far. We've been following a few of the pot stocks, ended up making a nice squeeze up at least. So we'll start off with those. And for any of the other movers that we ended up catching from earlier this morning, we'll quickly recap them. And really to say when I discuss a setup, I'm really talking about a specific, level, a big level of resistance to say if it breaks this price, then expect this. I mean, ACB has just been squeezing up throughout the afternoon, so not exactly a setup, but beautiful trends. So for right now, we ended up seeing ACB, at least from the early parts of the afternoon, breaking above resistance off of $7. Ended up making a very sharp move as expected up towards the 750, above that actually at first, but moved up higher even from that point. So as of right now, high of the day is at 828. It's kind of making this pattern here. It actually dropped off a bit, but now starting to build up a bit more with higher lows and trying to get back up towards that high. Not really a big order on the ask that I see. So actually, one thing that I had mentioned just before inside the chat board for all of us inside the trading room, at least, I mentioned 2 levels. Assumed resistance at 850, probably going to have a larger order on the ask there. That's just expected. And then also, actually, the opening price back from, I think this was even Friday of last week. It was at 836, if I'm not mistaken. 813 says the open, but the opening bell print was at 836. So keep a good eye on that price in particular ahead, even though there might not be a big order at that price on the ask. So for the meantime, ACB definitely will just put on our list here to start. We'll take a look at Tilray, the other pot stocks. I find these two to be the most volatile, provide the most opportunity given the price and the moves that they've made from the last few days. So as you could see, Tilray, very similar move. This time from 780, it broke above the resistance that it was holding, squeezed up just about 80 cents from that point. I feel like ACB is maybe a bit sharper even. We'll take a look at CGC Canopy Growth. This one ended up holding near the highs a little bit more before it just dumped off. So I feel like pot stocks altogether, maybe I'll just slip on our list, right? Just, CGC, ACB, Tilray. I don't mind just doing that to begin. If we build up a really big list, then I'll kind of specify and just trim it down a bit more. All right. So alongside that, more of an afternoon move that we caught, Tcon, kind of dumping off here at least now, but ended up making a big squeeze prior to 2 o'clock Eastern time. What I'll actually do, because I'm pretty curious myself here at least, I'll look at the news on this. I'll check out Benzinga Pro. Why did the stock just pop suddenly during the middle of the day? No new headline from Wednesday. I see from 4 in the afternoon yesterday they reported earnings. Looks like their EPS beat the estimate. That's it. So little push, spotty run up at least earlier in the morning, and then a sudden breakout here. I feel like this stock took a big hit. I got to zoom out on the daily chart. Really made a nice pop going back into September. So even from there, or even from where it is now, I mean, the stock has taken quite the hit over the last 2 years, right? And actually a bit of a gap to fill a little bit higher up. But yeah, right now, I don't mind slipping this on our list too, even though it had pulled back a bit. It seems like we're seeing some selling coming in from like 720-ish down to 7. So I wouldn't even be surprised the first time this pops back up to 7, and if over, for it to make a false breakout. So just try and be hesitant on this trade, actually, on this one. So TCON, I don't mind just slipping on our list here as well. If there's anything moving sharper on the way up, setting itself up, like I said, for a bigger move, then at that point, we'll look to, call it out. TCON here trying to get back up to 7, actually, right now. VXRT. VXRT ended up trading a lot of volume this morning, 26 plus million shares. Ended up making a very big squeeze up with that, though. So as soon as the market opened up, this ended up finding some legs to run. Pulled back at first, but then really broke out from major resistance off of 4, built its trend from there, and ended up squeezing up much higher. The stock is tradable. So actually, I'd say if this goes the other way, if it breaks below the 450 level here coming up and really through the VWAP perhaps as well, that we could see a bit of a sharper drop off on this trade. I wish the Sorrento trade was shortable, if anything. SRNE. This one we caught at least before the market opened up. After Fausto finished up his morning meeting, news came out on SRNE, and we ended up watching this more so than anything going into the open. Actually, what I'll do right now is copy and paste this news for all of us joining us late, or those of us on social media just that didn't tune into Fausto's morning briefing at least. But SRNE, the news out on this one, it looks like they announced IND filing for COVID drops in intranasal formula, just I guess to test antibodies. So, hey, 9 o'clock, that popped, or shortly after 9 o'clock. We ended up taking this trade. A bunch of us did inside our live trading room right from $6.10. And then from there, ran up beautifully. I left a lot of money on this table, given I was in from a lower price. So I thought it was going to shake back down a lot sooner than it really did. So I took about 30 cents. I could have re-entered as well. I was in on a couple of other trades today, but hey, I know a lot of us cleaned up on this one without me. So congrats to those that did. But where I was saying, Sorrento at least, hard to borrow now. Even if this stock craps out the other way, you wouldn't be able to catch it. So from earlier, ended up making that drop off. I would hope to see the same thing, just going back to that VXRT. So should VXRT really begin to spike down, at least that would be an opportunity that we would be able to take. It seems like it's kind of holding this bottom here as of right now. So until it does that, I wouldn't think short. And if anything, VXRT, I wouldn't mind seeing make another, run back up. Hopefully it can. But for right now, I guess we'll kind of slip this on our list here too. All right. I see a couple of callouts inside our chat board. What we'll actually do at this point, I guess, is just go right from top to bottom. The FPRX, this was more of the main attraction in the after hours yesterday. Ended up squeezing up from like $7-8 all the way up to 30, 25, close enough. But nonetheless, after the market opened up for a stock that was up 300+%, what do we think is going to happen? It's going to drop off, pullback, profit taking. So if this was shortable, this would have been really my number one going into the open, but ended up popping and then just tanking afterwards. Still pulling back. If you can get the shares to short this, keep it in mind. But for right now, again, we'll find better opportunities, or at least opportunities that most of us could take. FTech morning market opened up, popped pretty nicely from 110 up towards just about 205. Failed to break out higher off of 2. This was a setup I was really itching for, but obviously didn't make the break over 2 at this point, and tanked. That's right. I forgot about EQ. We ended up trading EQ, if I'm not mistaken. This was like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. I forgot what the news was at the time, and actually well before that, actually, really going back into early July, you could see that big move up on the daily chart. But most recently, we ended up trading this 2 weeks ago. It was actually shortable at the time in pre-market, dumped off, filled the gap on the way back down. Today, ended up making a nice squeeze back up. So ended up pushing all the way up towards the high of 644, spiked back down. If it was shortable, then maybe. But again, same thing. We'll kind of just skip over this for right now. This was a big dud. GNFT. I mean, more so in the pre-market it popped. At the open, obviously, we had the spike there, but look at the volume, just completely died off. It'll pop it once more here, but same thing. Man, look at the Dow just screaming down right now to the low of the day. I mean, it's not down a whole lot point-wise, right? Only down 82, but we were up on the morning. So as far as the high to low move, it's just about like a 200-point drop, 250-point drop. All right, so we're going to take a look. Ooh, this ARCT trade. I like the trend, but otherwise, you could see based on the liquidity and the order book here, I wouldn't really be too keen about it there. So I like the trend. It looks like it's making a huge recovery from the last 2 days, back from Monday of this week, ended up diving off and now recovering. Yeah, we'll kind of skip over these. I could just tell these are just busts. Maybe if there were to be one, maybe IMRN, if that's moving, just let me know. But REV popped at the open, ended up squeezing up. We had the news yesterday on Revlon. I believe that they're refinancing their debt, if I'm not mistaken, but ended up making a big squeeze up. Then from there, fell off. Plug, look at this, up 13+%. Markets are tanking, but this is squeezing up still. So we called this out at the open, right? Myself and Fausto during the morning audio broadcast inside the trading room. We were doing really well on this trade. It topped off right around 22.25, big resistance at the time. Well, from there, it popped that. It moved up to 22.50, and now here, heading into the afternoon, just breaking above 22.50. So, hey, not every stock's dropping with the market, at least for right now. Plug, definitely going to put on our list near the top. Love this stock. Chuck picking up 16 cents on Plug just now. He was in right from that 22.50 level. There we go, Chuck. Nice job. Plug had earnings, if I'm not mistaken, on Monday morning. So that could be a potential reason as to why they're getting a push right now. Vuzi, VUZI, had earnings Monday afternoon. I'm looking up at my whiteboard calendar as I say that. Not really doing much, though, this stock here. There we go. Co-Diagnostics ended up taking a big hit on Monday, and the last 2 days kind of similar to the other one that we were just looking at, making a big recovery. This one actually breaking higher from Monday's high, on the way up towards 13.50. Seemingly enough, not much of an order on the ask there just yet, but I would imagine for there to be one. It's just trading light volume right now per minute. It's only trading about 3,200 shares a minute, just about. So we'll come back to this. I definitely like seeing CODX on the gainers list near the highs heading into the afternoon. We've done well on that trade right where it is here at this time of the day, but I'll see if there's anything else looking even better. Genius, GNUS, another stock that we've done well on in the past. I feel like that stock will be back in play soon. I hope so. APT, another vaccine stock, Corona stock. So hey, with the shutdown, or not shutdown, but with New York closing bars and restaurants and gyms, 10 o'clock now. I mean, I'm sure you're going to see some love across the market for some of the vaccine stocks. So hey, VXRT, we saw them make a pop. Sorrento at this point, I think, is exhausted. But CODX pushing up nicely. This APT as well. APT I like a bit more than CODX right now at this point. So this one will make our cut. I'll look at what else do we have? Inovio, right? INO. INO reported earnings also Monday afternoon. I'm just looking again at my whiteboard up top. And yeah, so not exactly is this moving up right now. So I guess we'll skip this, but the other's looking all right. And definitely that APT. Ooh, got a few other familiar names, at least at the bottom of the gainer side here. VBIV. You've seen the stock in the past. More of an afternoon push from 1 o'clock, from 220 up to 244 the high. It's like a lot of volume on the order book for this stock to cut through. So, definitely keep it in mind, like on the side. Keep it on your side list for tomorrow, for Friday, etc. Hopefully, it will continue up higher for the stock to run up going back into May and June of this year from like 150 all the way to 650. Drop back down. But for that type of range, it leads you to ask, when are we going to see the next, streak on the way up? So, even if that goes up to 350 or $3, I would love to just see continuation at some point. So maybe tomorrow, maybe Friday, just to keep it on your side list. I had some chat just before, actually, right before I hopped over to the gainers list to start scanning. One of us did write about PLTR. They said moving back up towards that 1550. So Michael D wrote that in the chat board. Good timing, at least right now. It hasn't broken out above that resistance just yet. So yeah, great call, PLTR. You know, I love this stock. Put this on our list, Tim. All right, cool. And with that, maybe Solo, maybe F-Cell. Solo looking pretty interesting. This is an EV stock. Kind of similar to VBIV. It has a lot of volume on the order book for it to cut through. That's just kind of a gripe for me on this trade. It's up, 11%. It's at the highs literally right now. So, hey, if we see a lot of buying coming up right here over 380, maybe we see continuation here. I don't mind giving this a look right now, Solo. Man, anything else I'm going to see on the gainer side here right now? I want to hop over to the losers, but just I feel like everything right now, some familiar names at least. Nikola, big squeeze up from earlier today, but obviously the dump off just before. The stock is shortable, so if it ends up crapping out completely, then I guess we could take that. It's at a major level here at 20 and at the VWAP at 1994, you would imagine. See if there's anything. Maybe just, this had a great range across the day, up and then down already. It already dropped off quite a bit. So is it going to continue to dump all the way off? It's just not as often that we see that. And then finally, last one here on the gainer side, F-Cell. I'm just trying to go to the losers list already. F-Cell pushed up earlier today. I saw one of our students make a comment on this, so I wanted to just take a look. Slow mover, same thing, just a crap ton of volume on the order book. So, I'm not as particular about that. It kind of is like watching the grass grow, watching the paint dry. All right. EGAN. I have no idea what happened here. My guess would be common stock offering, but I could be easily wrong on that. It is shortable, but it's just super flat right now. Whoa. Good timing on this. Well, I have no idea what the hell happened on this MPLN, but I will care to look right now. So I'm going to copy and paste the news actually first for all of us in social media. I just have to click an extra button to do that. So you guys go first. And then with that, for all of us inside the trading room, there we go. That's a news report out from today at 2:05 Eastern. Damn. So Muddy Waters is short on MPLN. They made that announcement. Largest customer is going to compete with it. SPAC due diligence missed this. We estimate 2022 estimated revenue will drop by 35%. So that's a bit of a report. How much of that is true? Well, it's getting a big reaction from the market already, of course. So yeah, MPLN right on the top of our list. Does it go? All right. See, that's why I wanted to go to the losers list. I actually didn't know this was happening, but just man, I wanted to find better opportunity, and here we go. So for right now, this is definitely looking good. Skip this. CY, oh, I didn't mean to click that. CYH, 3.1 million shares, down 11%, $8 stock. Take a look. Squeezed down very nicely today. Wow. Back-to-back days, if I'm not mistaken. I could have sworn I saw Norman take a short on this. Maybe it was yesterday on this one. But ended up dropping off today again still. So pulled back towards a low of 822. From there, squeezed up towards just about 865, 870-ish. And for right now, it seems to be still pretty active. Not really much volume on the bid or the ask. And in terms of a big iceberg, there's definitely some volume both on both sides. At this point, we already have a big list. Keep that in mind. I will add CYH, but honestly, I'm going to cut down this list before we finish up. All right, so we have a lot of stuff. Otherwise, a lot of stuff that is easy to borrow rather on the loser side here. So following the market on the way down is JWN. I would imagine Kohl's, and I would also imagine Macy's. So it looks like all of the department stores dropping off steadily into the afternoon. All of them are shortable for those of us on TradeStation. We'll look at some of the side list stocks like NCLH. You got to pick and choose, folks. NCLH at the low of the day, trying to fill the gap on the way down. Looks really good. Remember yesterday, CCL was easy to borrow. Today, hard to borrow. But dropping off, CUK moving with it. So at this point, I mean, we have so much that there is out there to trade. Where do I begin with chopping down this list? Well, I'll tell you this much. We'll take a look at the pot stocks right now, like ACB and Tilray. To see those stocks squeeze up as much as they did, there could definitely be room for more, just given how strong they're holding at this point. I just feel like they're trading a lot of volume. Plugs starting to, pull back a little bit, but still very strong. We'll look at VXRT. Just quickly go through our list again. Like VXRT, right? This already made a big move up. It's just trading in a tight range at this point. So with as much as we have on the way down, I don't want this to be a distraction, the stock. So I'd rather skip this for right now. Solo, it's at the high of the day right now, but the amount of volume on the order book that it has to cut through, I'm just not a fan of it right now as much compared to some of the others. At the same time, I still, do like the PLTR. That stock is shortable, a bit more volatile than the others, so it could provide good opportunity should that actually drop off, and then otherwise still holding pretty nicely. The APT, I'm just going down our list here still at this point to like trim the fat, perhaps. And TCON, I feel like TCON already made a big move up so far. I mean, it's only up 22% given, but pulling back now, volume fading off. We're going to scratch this off our list. We got to make room for some of the better ones here at this point. So honestly, I like all of the department stores. So that's those three. And with that, I mean, really just like air and sea stocks, really. Cruise lines, airlines. We'll look at the airlines actually right now. Yeah, AAL was a fantastic short yesterday afternoon. We called that out. We called it out this morning, dropped off. So that's where I say just like follow all cruise lines, follow all the airlines out there, the department stores, obviously, like we said, and then some of the others as well that we'll keep in mind that are on our list. So I'll type the list out to all of us inside the live trading room. I'll actually type it out here for all of us on the social media streams here too. So once I finish the recording, at least I'll put that up on the chat board for us. All right, Scott here in the chat board says, or in the trading room says, I believe PLTR reports earnings tomorrow morning. I have tomorrow afternoon. I do have them on my calendar there, Scott. So good eye, good heads up on that. I'll keep everybody informed at least with that come tomorrow. I copied and pasted at least the earnings that I have going into the bell today and then for tomorrow morning. So if you scroll up on the chat board, you'll see that, and I'll repost it a bit later on today. All right. So as always, folks, for all of us on social media, Facebook Live and YouTube, make sure that you guys like and subscribe right to our YouTube channel first. And then with that, feel more than free to join us Monday to Friday weekdays inside our live trading room. Just make sure that you go to the link right below on that banner to join us in our trial. All right. For all of us inside the trading room, I'm going to take a quick 10-15 minute breather. A lot of talking today. Then I'll be right back on the mic, at least taking us into the final 45 minutes of the afternoon. All right. Take care.